To the doctor. Doctor, I says, I think I might be retrated.
Anyway, so let's get started then.
All right, let's
welcome,
get started.
welcome to the Brooks and Zach.
Are you ready to get started? Brooks, I don't know if you're ready to get started or not. I can't. You gotta give me signals. You can't just start talking to the microphone.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Open the dictionary.
Yeah.
Look through it.
I
want you to find.
Hold on. Let me just. All right. Here's the dictionary. Let me got my pocket dictionary.
Yeah.
Right,
just flipping through it.
Yeah. Okay.
And
so.
turn to the page that has.
All right. Let me just.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Turn.
Yep.
Turn to the page
Got
that
it.
has the phrase "air of professionalism" on it.
Oh, hold on. Air of ignorance. Air of death. Or air of professionalism. Got it.
Yeah. I want you to look at the picture. And the picture says...
No, it's a picture of me with an X on it. Ha! I think I'm getting the hint.
Welcome to the Brooks and Zach 100 Years Podcast. I'm Brooks.
And I'm apparently in a dictionary. I see why I'm in that dictionary now.
Okay. So, yeah. So we have an episode for you guys today.
Do we?
No.
This podcast
But we're gonna try anyway.
All right.
Let's start off with the news. Actual news this time, not whatever the last thing was. That was
a fever
weird.
dream last
Yes.
time.
You were not listening to an episode. There was no episode last week.
There's never an episode. Don't listen to these episodes.
Yeah.
Ever.
Why are you on computer? So the first bit of news.
Yeah.
PayPal lists Steam winter sale start date.
I don't know what any of those words
Just in time
All right.
for Christmas.
Yep. No,
the Steam winter sale is going to begin on December 22nd.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so...
Wait, that's in 2 days from now?
That is...
3 days from now.
3 days from now, yes.
Your watch tells the date?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, weird. I
It's
didn't
the
know you were a
19th.
nerd.
You didn't know that? In all honesty, I was thinking about this the other day. I think I may be the dorkiest out of everyone in our friend group.
No, you just now realized that? Well, if it's any consolation, Griffin is much worse than you are.
Really?
Oh yeah, like if I would look at you and then I would look at Griffin and I would go, if I could guess who would get laid and who wouldn't.
No, it's not. It's not that.
If I could guess who I would sacrifice to a pit of hungry lions and who I would actually consider a friend, I would look over at Mattis and go, Matt, you're my friend.
Why don't you just start a podcast with Matt then?
Why don't you start a podcast with Rosenberg then?
I can't tell him about the Brooks and Josh Secret Time podcast.
I go on Soundcloud, I look it up, and I see 400 episodes of that. I'm like, what? What? I'm the side bitch? Is that what this is? It's expected.
But, it's not that aspect of it. The aspect I'm talking about is I'm the dorkiest, nerdiest, and most awkward out of everyone in our group.
In some aspects, yes, but in other aspects, no. I mean, you can convey your emotions properly to people, correct?
Yes, yeah.
I can't. Let's start at point A and point B, and in between for me is just a huge brick wall that I look at, and I do have the tools to break down this brick wall, but instead I take those tools and start digging a hole, thinking, there's probably something here. I can probably find some gold on this side of the wall, and people are like, Zach, come on over to this side of the wall. I'm like, yeah, no, I'll be there. I just gotta tick, 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 tick. Yeah, I broke my tools. I can't get over
And it has been 60 years. Okay. Anyway, that got a little bit real. So, any games in particular you're looking at on Steam?
One game particularly that I really, really, really want, but since it is near the holiday season, I'm thinking my family's gonna get me some Steam money, so I'm like, I shouldn't buy it yet. It's Undertale. Really want Undertale. Do you know anything about Undertale?
I've only heard it mentioned, and I feel like it's something that I'll play eventually, and thus don't want spoiled.
Yeah, that is exactly how I've been with it. I have actively trying to avoid spoilers for it constantly. The only thing I know about it is that it's like a 16-bit game, like Mother 3 or Earthbound or something like that, and it's great. So you know nothing about Undertale?
No, I don't. I think it's been actually pretty easy to avoid spoilers for it.
Not for me, because I have a Tumblr.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone on Tumblr is like, look at this Undertale. Plus, I was getting a gift for somebody that was from Undertale. And I had to go to a mutual friend. I was like, quick, what do you know about Undertale? And like, oh, I know the whole plot. Want me to tell you about it? I'm like, no, just give me a link to a poster that would be a great gift for someone who really likes Undertale. And like, oh, okay. And they sent me a link, and I looked at the poster. I'm like, I don't know anything that's going on in this poster. There's like this claptrap guy who's talking into a microphone, and there's a spotlight on him, and a bunch of people are around. What's happening here? Then I gave it to them as a gift, and they're like, oh, this is from X, Y, and Z in this part of blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, it is.
I got you. Did I get you
It's clearly the musical recital.
the musical recital
Yeah.
of the 16-bit video game?
Yeah.
The
one that happened. Okay. For me, I'm looking at a game right now. It's by the guy who made Stanley Parable.
Oh, the beginner's guide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Extra credits recommended that.
I mean, I watched a walkthrough of it since it's only like a 45-minute to an hour.
Yeah. I know. Knowing that, I'm gonna wait until it goes on sale to get it. But you
Yeah.
know, I don't want to know anything about it and everything. I want to be
Yeah.
like Stanley Parable. I don't want to watch a walkthrough. I want to be in there.
No, I understand.
I want to be.
Yeah, you said that.
Be in it.
I know.
just
It is an emotional roller coaster.
Okay, yeah.
As is Undertale, apparently. I know nothing about it. I can't wait to play it. I can't wait to die on the inside constantly, all the time. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so there is a question that has arisen, and it is, why is the new Spider-Man Tom Holland on the set of Doctor Strange?
I don't know what those words. I mean, who's Tom Holland?
The actor who's been cast as Spider-Man in the MCU.
Oh.
Yeah, and
What is he? Hold on, I'm gonna Google him real quick.
He's mostly unknown, like a few like parts here and there, but you know.
Oh, okay. What's his name again?
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
You can probably just go to like Captain America: Civil War, or I thought you were looking on IMDb.
No, him.
Yeah, that's a younger picture of him than he is currently.
That looks like
because
a very
he's
young child.
he's our age.
Yeah.
So like
That is a one young 19-year-old.
just hang on. IMDb I think has a more current picture of him. Yeah, here he is.
Oh, he looks attractive. I mean,
He's oh, okay.
Look, he's our age.
It's all right. It's all right to feel these things, Zach.
All right, I'm a growing boy.
But yeah, he's gonna make his appearance in Captain America: Civil War, which I'm
Really?
excited for.
Spider-Man's gonna be in Civil War?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
It's awesome.
And then that's obviously gonna go off into the MCU's Spider-Man movies.
Right.
So yeah, that's great because Spider-Man is the best.
Yeah.
But
so
he's on the set of Doctor Strange, and no one really knows why. So potential cameo.
I mean, I like how with the Marvel Cinematic Universe now, every movie is now just like, since everybody knows who all the characters are now, every movie's just like, yeah, well, it's not really a Captain America movie anymore. It's a movie that has Captain America in it, but there's also Iron Man, Spider-Man, everybody else, and all that.
Well, the thing is, some people like are complaining that Civil War is just gonna be like another Avengers movie, but I'm just like, literally during the entire Phase 2 of Marvel, the same complaint everyone had about each movie is, why doesn't the Avengers just show up? Why isn't there just the Avengers? Now there's the Avengers, and people are complaining. There's no pleasing these people.
Nobody's ever happy.
No one's ever just be like, okay, it's fine, I'm good with this.
Yeah,
no one can ever be like that.
Never happens, because there's something somebody's always like, hey, it could be better. Oh, well.
You see, if I, this person who's never made a movie, were in charge, I would be so much better.
Oh, yeah, especially if Brooks was the one throwing a movie.
It's a bit hypocritical because we comment on movies all the time.
We do.
Yeah.
But I am fully aware that I could not make a better movie.
Yeah.
I'm aware maybe I could act better than some of the people. Probably not. They're professionals. I'm still learning how to act. But I would love to be better than them. I could be better than the Anakin who played in Episode 3 of Star Wars.
Yeah.
You made me watch all of those, but we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that. So,
Ghostbusters 3.
Ghostbusters, not 3, it's a reboot.
Ghostbusters 4.
Ghostbusters 5.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, Jesus.
So, what do you got?
Did you ever see the original Ghostbusters?
Did I ever see the original Ghostbusters?
You didn't answer the question.
What? I did see it.
Okay.
I like Bill Murray.
Yeah, Bill Murray's great. But they've revealed the posters for the all new all female thing of all the people.
What's it look like?
So you got Melissa McCarthy there with that poster.
I like her. She's funny.
Where are the other? Oh wait, hang on. I think it was a slideshow. I just went past it.
Yeah.
Here we go. There's De Niro.
Yep. Oh, that's an ad. You gotta get.
There's Kristen Wiig.
I don't know who she is.
You'd recognize her immediately.
Okay.
But I'll show you a picture afterwards. There's that's the coolest poster in my mind.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's got all the stuff with it.
Yeah, it's got all the
I
stuff.
don't know why they put a little heart on the radiation symbol, because it's like, get it? She's a girl. Like, what the fuck? Why? I mean, I know she's a girl. I don't need to put a heart symbol on it.
And then there's the last one.
I'm guessing her name's Patty.
Oh, it has a little patty, on it. But
Gotta have the sassy black woman to bring this party together.
Okay, so Ghostbusters. I'm still looking forward to it.
Yeah, I don't see any problem with it.
Yeah. So, those posters are cool. Posters are cool, people.
Posters.
We're a little light on news because we have a lot to talk about. But sort of like two pieces of news joined together that will be a segue.
Yeah.
Is Star Wars The Force Awakens sells more tickets than any other film in Fandango history. Even Jurassic World, which set the record earlier this year.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So, and then related to that piece of news, Star Wars The Force Awakens sets new Thursday box office record. So I think, I think the final total was 57 million.
That's pretty good.
On Thursday.
Yeah.
I saw a post about this to put into perspective. Fan Four Stick,
the
Josh Trank film that came out earlier this year, its entire domestic gross was, I think, 54.
Okay.
So Star Wars made more than that in a single day.
Oh, that's great. And it's even better than Fan Four Stick.
Yeah.
Fan Four Stick sucked.
Yeah.
A lot.
Did you end up seeing it?
No, I didn't. I just saw little bits and pieces of it, and I got so bored I almost fell asleep. And I went, all right.
I remember we had that discussion on a previous episode when you saw Mission Impossible, and you didn't tell me that you weren't seeing Fan Four Stick.
Oh yeah.
So you gave it a pretty positive review. I'm like, what?
What the fuck? Just like how I was trying to view the prequels as better than the original just to piss you off, but I couldn't do it, man.
You couldn't
do it. Although I do stand by, I do like Jar Jar. Though I haven't seen him in Phantom Menace, I like him as I've seen him.
Phantom Menace Jar Jar is, I think a big thing with that is it's too much.
Okay.
Too much Jar Jar on screen too much of the time. Star Wars The Clone Wars, I keep going back to it, but it has some nice Jar Jar stuff. There's an arc where he goes on an Indiana Jones adventure with Mace Windu, and it's amazing.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
And I love it. But going off of that, Star Wars! We saw Star Wars.
Before we saw Star Wars, you made me marathon all the Star Wars.
I made a lot of people do that.
Yes. All of the Star Wars. We spent
helped.
$50 on snacks. We brought everybody over. Jesus Christ.
The other people there helped with, right?
What?
They helped with your viewing of it, having the other people there.
Because I knew I didn't have to sit down and focus the entire time on it. I sat down, I know I saw bits and pieces of the movie before, so I'm like, alright, I know what's gonna happen in a little bit. But then when parts happened that I was like, wait, what the fuck? All of episode 6? Apparently I never saw that one before. So I was like, oh shit, Vader dies? Oh, fuck, man, I didn't know this shit. I'm sad.
Right. So, for this episode, we're going to establish some ground rules because we are going to talk about The Force Awakens.
But we're not going to spoil it.
Yeah, first part, when we talk about the other movies that we've seen, full spoilers there. But for when talking about Force Awakens, we're not going to spoil it.
Yet.
Yeah, probably
later episode, probably.
We'll probably talk about it again in a later episode because there are some, in-depth stuff, we would one day like to talk about. But as of right now, because the movie's only been out for a few days, we aren't going to spoil it at all. Right.
We'll just give our opinions on said movie.
Yeah. So, if at this point it's been a few days, if you don't, if you're avoiding everything, you haven't seen the movie, and you don't know, anything about it online, if our reactions to it, if you would consider that a spoiler as to whether the movie's good or not.
Fuck you.
Zach, please.
What?
Anyway,
yeah, go ahead. No.
So we're gonna talk about the other movies first, and then we're gonna go into The Force Awakens, and then the episode will be over.
All right. Yeah.
So, do you want to just go in the order that we watched them?
Sure.
Okay, so we watched them in what is called the machete order.
Yes.
And the way about that is some people, don't like this, but who cares? You go
4, 5, 1, 2, 3. 4,
four.
5, 2, 3, 6.
Yes. The idea is that after the cliffhanger in Empire, you go into a flashback of how Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader. That is the prequels, and then you go into the finale of 6, and you can cut out Phantom Menace because the story doesn't really connect and no one likes it. But
That's true.
so Zach, for that, we'll still comment on Phantom Menace for a bit.
Okay.
I'll be able to say more than Zach because Zach hasn't seen it.
Correct, because
So-
you told me it was shit.
Which it is. So,
Okay.
although it's funny because I maintain that Attack of the Clones is probably a worse movie.
Really?
Yeah, it's just Attack of the Clones more directly connects to the story.
Gotcha.
So that's why Phantom Menace is skipped. So we'll start with one of the best ones, which is Episode 4, A New Hope. So, general thoughts on that one? The original Star Wars?
It was, for me, 4, was that your phone or my phone?
I think that was a phone upstairs.
Oh, okay. For me, though, I'm trying to remember. 4, that was when you see, hey, look, here's Luke. Here's Leia. They're best friend. They're sibling. They kissed. They kissed. They're sibling, but they kissed.
No, the sibling thing came later.
Okay.
We'll talk more about that in Return of the Jedi, but there's a whole backstory to that.
All right.
So the Episode 4 was the one with the Death Star
right.
and everything. It was
I like how for that they were just like, yeah, all right, we got this dude. He's using the Force. He's good. Right? You good? You know what you're doing? Let's go. I don't know. I didn't like 4 that much.
Really.
It was 5 and 6 that I liked.
Really?
Because that one had more Han. 6 was my favorite because there was all the Han. There was Han, and he was captured at first, and I'll go.
Okay, so you didn't like
4 was not my favorite. It was
So-
just like, all right, it felt slow to me, I guess, because it was like, here's all the exposition in this wonderful world. I'm like, all right, okay, you're on a desert. I get it.
See, for me, it's like watching the original Star Wars. Back in 1977, it was considered a very fast-paced movie, considering like the other movies that came out. It was like breakneck speed and all that.
Really?
And for me, watching it, I don't think there's tons of exposition because the prequels have tons of exposition. The prequels will have entire blocks of characters just talking about exposition. And I think in Star Wars in particular, it does a good job of setting up a world without really explaining it all that much. Because you don't really, you don't need an explanation of how the Empire got started or what, or why they're evil and everything.
Something was just too, for lack of a better word, plain for me, I guess, because I'm just used to watching a whole bunch of shows that all the characters are blown out of proportion, I guess.
Yeah,
and I'm going from super everything's great immediately to all right, we're actually these are kind of real people in a space situation. I'm like, well, all right.
And that was the draw of the movie back then because sci-fi in those days was very clean. It was very futuristic. It was all this, and it was like 2001: A Space Odyssey is essentially what a lot of sci-fi
classic
was.
sandwich.
The sandwich scene. And then Star Wars came along, and people didn't like it because they thought it looked really rough and lived in, which is actually a big draw for a lot of people. That the Star Wars universe is a very lived-in sort of universe.
Right.
But I understand that because your sensibilities are very anime.
Yeah.
And with a lot over the top stuff.
Well, because I watch movies for over the top. If I want to see realistic, oh god, this is realism, I'll watch a play because then I'm sitting and watching the actual people do their thing.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just
that's my opinion.
Yeah,
man.
that's just your sensibilities and everything.
Man.
For me, it's
That's my opinion.
I've stated
Man.
I've stated on a previous episode that I have a few movies that I consider perfect. And when I said that, well, I was wrong because there is no such thing as a perfect film.
Correct.
But what I sort of
Great
what I sort of mean is that there are some films that I think are very
great.
close to perfect. And so, yeah, what I mean is that there are some movies that I think have perfectly told stories, in story structure and everything, and the actual execution of the movies are pretty close to perfect to the point where they're really classic movies. I would consider the first Star Wars among that, where I think it's It's a very well done, very self-contained sci-fi story that was helped a lot by really good editors, because if you ever seen some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, or like even George Lucas's original edit of the movie, it's pretty bad.
Oh, really?
So yeah. And then there was a lot of like, it's when I say it's not perfect, there's some of the acting is pretty questionable. Some of the dialogue is, pretty not all that good.
The only thing I know about George Lucas is John Tron's adaptation of him.
John Tron's adaptation.
Yeah, and I choose to believe that is the real George Lucas.
While we were sitting, when we saw Force Awakens with our huge group of guys, they had us in a spoiler-free zone in another theater, and while we were there, Josh showed me a really funny video of an impersonator doing a George Lucas interview and everything. I'll have to show you that after the episode, but it's really funny. But yeah, I think the original Star Wars, like, it had a huge impact on the film industry and everything, because the blockbuster was sort of created with Jaws in 1975, and then in 77 it was sort of...
There's no blockbusters anymore.
What do you mean?
You know, Blockbuster?
I mean like...
No, I know what I meant.
Anyway, and then I think Star Wars had a huge, like, with the special effects, which still look amazing. There's one shot in particular that I really love in the movie. It's when they're going into the trench run of the Death Star, and the camera does a really cool, motion thing, like it's a POV of the X-Wing, almost.
It does that exact shot twice, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's really good, and all this stuff, because it was 1977, all of it was done in camera and everything. And it was really cool, and I really liked it, and it's probably one of my... Where it ranks for me among the Star... Okay, we'll do a ranking for each movie.
You among the stars?
Among the Star Wars movies, we'll both do this. So for me... I'd have to say, for me, I like both that and Empire the same.
Okay.
So, and for you, where does it rank amongst the Star Wars that you've seen?
Like, if we're going in order from what I think is best to worst, or...
Yeah. Without, like, really giving away the others until we talk about those.
This one is third.
Third?
Third for me.
Okay.
The first one. The New Hope, that's third. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and then after that we watched Empire Strikes Back, which was the follow-up to it, because
give me a brief rundown, because we watched those movies like at the same time, so it kind of melded together.
So Empire opens up with the battle on Hoth, and then it splits off between Luke and the rest of the people. Yeah. Luke trains on Dagobah, they try to escape the Empire.
Right.
They eventually end up in Cloud City, all the bad shit goes down, Luke shows up, more bad shit goes down, and then the movie ends. Mm-hmm. It was really
Han gets taken. This is kryptonite.
Yeah, carbonite.
Kryptonite.
Yes, it is, and then Superman shows up, and you're just like, oh, this is the show now.
Marvel Cinematic Universe, spawn out, DC.
Yeah, everything's crossing over.
What's the streams?
Look, let's be honest. Disney's gonna own everything eventually. Just give it time.
Oh God, I don't want that to happen.
It's gonna happen.
One company to rule them all.
Yeah.
That's gonna be sad.
Yeah, that's gonna be dark days. But in the meantime, so Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
It's really it's really become the sort of standard. Yeah, it's the Strikes Back of the series. That's a phrase that people use, because it's really become the standard for which a lot of sequels have been judged, because it did something really interesting in a time when even now sequels are pretty much just a rehash of the plot of the first movie.
Pretty much.
A lot. It was really interesting and really daring for them to be like, yeah, this isn't just a rehash of the plot. This is as if the first movie was the first chapter of a story, and this is the second chapter. Like, there's a definite progression of everything, which I think all of the Star Wars films, like some more than others, but something I like about Star Wars is that each, like, even if they have stuff reminiscent of older movies, each movie introduces something new. That was a nice voice crack.
Perfect, Brooks.
Each movie introduces something new to the universe and new to Star Wars and everything, or new elements to the story.
Like a black guy.
We'll get to that. And that's what I really like about Star Wars, is that even the prequels were like, if nothing else, they were completely different and completely new experiences from
were
the
an
other
experience,
Star Wars.
all right.
Yeah, maybe
You know what else was an
maybe they were too
experience?
different. We'll get to that
The
in a
bubonic
bit.
plague was an experience.
Yeah.
It wiped out a lot of people.
We'll get to that. But Empire is just like a fantastic movie. And I'd say like in terms of like story structure, it's weaker than the first one, but in a lot of other aspects it's stronger than the first one.
Okay.
So, what was some of your favorite parts of that one?
The fact that he was hanging upside down. He's like looking at his lightsaber. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna pass out. I gotta get the lightsaber. Chop the."
And then he did pass out, and then he died.
Yep.
And then the movie ended.
The credits rolled. No, I like the whole training montage he had with Yoda, who had dementia. That was great.
I keep telling everyone that was just an act, and no one believes me.
Say that, but he was like, "Oh, there's food in this thing."
See, that's interesting because both you and I are way younger than when the movie came out and everything. So we've always known who Yoda is. So I wonder what it was like for people to go into Empire not having there been no Yoda before that, and having that that moment happen where he's pretending to be just some random creature.
And he is just some random creature.
And then you find out he's just this super powerful Jedi, and I'm just like, yes, that's really cool.
And you're like, oh.
And I really love that that whole training sequence and everything. I think it has some stuff that is maybe missing from the other movies that I would like more, which is kind of a more discussion on the Force.
And it kind of had that iconic "I am your father" moment there in that movie.
Oh yeah.
So that kind of it's definitely up there then.
Yeah, which is probably the biggest plot twist in any movie.
I don't know. I think I See Dead People was a huge plot twist for its
that
time.
was a pretty big plot twist, but in terms of sheer impact on everything, you know, the whole "I'm your father" thing, people who have never seen Star Wars know that.
Yeah.
So that's and that's pretty impressive. And then going back to the Yoda on Dagobah whole thing, what I really liked is a lot of the discussions on the Force, where Luke's asking, like a teacher and a student, he's asking him questions about, what it means to be a Jedi and the light side and the dark side. Yeah. I'm like, oh, this is some stuff that was missing in a lot of the movies, where it could have really used this. Prequels. But
you all right? You had something in your throat.
I think an aspect of Star Wars that really adds to it and makes it sort of bigger than it would normally be if it's just a space adventure is the sort of spirituality of the Force, and I really like that. So you liked Empire?
Yes.
Yeah. Anything else in Empire? I like how it went darker, and you really didn't expect that. And then Han, the coolest guy, cool guy McGee, snapping the fingers.
Carbon.
He's cool. He's frozen in carbon. That's how cool he is.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty dark to have that. Do you think a sequel nowadays would have done something like that, where not only does it branch off in a completely different story than what you're expecting, but would leave the characters in the place that they are?
No, because I think that would be everybody would shit on it if it did that. They'd go, I can't believe they ended it like this. This guy's dead. Blah blah blah.
Started.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we caught the glitch thing again, and we just had a comment about people were kind of upset with Empire leaving on a cliffhanger, and a whole bit about Back to the Future. I don't know, and how we can just pop in Return of the Jedi when they had to wait 3 years.
So yeah, we're better than them.
Yeah, we are.
Suck it, past, future.
Yeah. Okay.
X-Men.
So yeah, I think Empire is pretty much remembered as the best Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
And it's definitely, like I said, for me in the rankings, it's tied with the first one and everything, because it was took a lot of risks, and because it went darker and went off in a whole new story, and I like that, and I hope more movies would do something like that, where instead of just a rehash with the sequel, it's a progression of the story and the characters, and introduces a lot of new elements to the franchise.
Yes.
So good job, Empire. You done good.
You get my rating of the second place top spot.
All right.
Yeah.
So, for For our viewing of it, we went straight to episode 2, but technically we did watch part of episode 1.
The Darth Maul fight.
Yeah. As a prologue, we watched the Darth Maul fight between
Liam Neeson.
Qui-Gon Jinn,
Liam Neeson.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Darth Maul. And then I'm just going to talk about Phantom Menace real quick. So, as a preface to the whole prequels, I watched them a million times when I was younger, and I love them.
Yeah.
Unabashedly, I love them, and I loved them just as much as I loved the originals, and it was all great. And then a very specific experience happened to me.
You
when
opened your eyes while you were watching them?
A few years ago, I don't remember exactly how many years ago, but it was before the whole Disney buying thing, George Lucas announced that he was planning on releasing all the movies, like, one a year, like, in 3D and everything. So I'm like, oh, cool. Because at this point, I was a bit older than when I had first watched the movies, and I'd been on the internet long enough to realize that people really hated them. I didn't really understand why at the time. So I dragged my dad to the first one that came out, which was Phantom Menace, to the 3D showing of that, and we watched that. I sat in the theater. I'm like, this is really bad. This is a bad movie. I am bored. And I'm like, I still have a lot of affection for the prequels to the point where I can sit down and watch them. Even like the other day when we were watching the prequels, I'm like, I'm perfectly fine with watching these. I mean, they're still bad and really boring and everything, but you know, I can still watch them. So with the Phantom Menace, I won't talk about it too much, but basically there was a lot of hype for it. But then when it came out, it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
It didn't really feel very Star Wars-y. It tried to incorporate some of the things created in the expanded universe.
Okay.
Like, since Jedi ended, there were a lot of books, there was a lot of video games, and all that kind of stuff. Right. And Phantom Menace sort of tried to incorporate some of that while introducing new elements to the franchise, and it all came together in a really, like, not very good bundle. For those of you who want a more in-depth review of pretty much all the prequels, there's this group called Red Letter Media, who we're giving a shout out to, because they have these really...
Our shout out means nothing to
No,
anybody.
it means nothing, because, you know, no one will listen to this.
Ever.
But...
Thanks, Leho.
Leho's the best. I love you, Leho.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have really in-depth reviews. I mean, like, crazy in-depth. About why, like, basically a bullet points of why the prequels fail on every level. And they're really great. So now we can go into episode 2.
Yes.
Which both of us can talk about. I've been talking about episode 1, so why don't you start off with episode 2?
Episode 2 was when, again, they mashed together. Oh, crap, what was the...
So, it opens up with an explosion, and then they're just like, we gotta protect the Padme. And then you had Jango Fett. Yeah.
Wait, yeah, that was they were assassinating her, they got into a room, there was the little bleep bloop droid that cut a hole in the window.
Yeah.
And then they chased after the droid, there was the little chasing scene. I blacked out for a bit. I remember there was Jango Fett again, and then he's like, "Hey, you think I did this? You think I tried to assassinate a person? Well, you're stupid. I wouldn't do that. This is my son. His name's Boba. He's not gonna come into play later in the future." Oh, he's probably the other Jango Fett in the future. I get that. I remember him.
He's the old Jango Fett.
He's the new and improved 2.0 clone Jango Fett.
Yeah, so basically episode 2 is interesting.
Is that Order 66?
No, episode 3 is Order 66.
Oh, okay.
Episode 2 is the start of the Clone Wars, which was referenced in the original Star Wars movie.
Okay.
And everything. And it has a lot of stuff in it that is not good. You know, like sand. I don't like sand. It's rough and it's coarse and it gets everywhere.
Look, and that's why he put Luke on a sand planet.
Yeah.
Later on. Because he didn't like sand.
He doesn't want to go back to sand.
Sand?
South. But, yeah, and then episode 2 is probably the most boring, where the least amount of stuff happens.
Big time. I was snooze fest the entire time.
Anakin, bad direction from George Lucas. We're not really saying anything new, but it has a very steep descent into the dark side.
Like,
in my opinion,
it was really bad.
Yeah,
like Anakin's like, I want to kill people, but for fun. Like, what the fuck? What? You're
yeah, it was just like, it had maybe like one moment where it was just like, I really shouldn't be doing this, and then it didn't do that, and everything, and then it was.
I don't
just
like
dumb.
The prequels. Can we just get through these really
quickly?
Yeah,
let's get through the prequels.
All right, so
it introduces a lot of stuff that was improved a lot in Star Wars: The Clone Wars TV series. Go watch it now.
Okay, and episode 3, that's the one I remember.
Episode 3 is probably the most important to the story.
That was actually the one I saw before.
Yes.
I forgot all about it.
That was the only one you had seen prior
because I was like, General Grievous, I remember him. General Grievous was a guy who had the 4 lightsabers, and I thought he was a person. But I guess he was. Why is he a general in the whole dark side? They don't have generals. They just have Sith and apprentice.
Yeah, it's a whole thing that's, once again, better explained in the Clone Wars. God damn it, George. But
but I thought the reason why he coughed was because Obi-Wan crunched his heart or something a little bit.
Well, the thing was, there really was no explanation, so they had a micro-series directed by the guy who did Samurai Jack.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's a really cool one. Like, it's because each episode's only 2 minutes long. It's a weaker TV show than than the later one, Clone Wars. But it had that, because it has that direction. It has the best action scenes and probably anything ever.
Yeah.
But there is a scene when they're just like, okay, we gotta explain this. So we're gonna have Mace Windu crush his chest cavity with the Force and everything. So that did happen.
Robots can cough.
But the thing was, he had then the official explanation, I guess, because he sort of does that in the Clone Wars, and there's no crushing the chest moment in that show. Maybe there would have been if it was allowed to finish, Disney.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have a lot of feelings towards this.
No, I get that.
But but I guess the explanation is that he was a cyborg, and his lungs weren't too good, and they kept him. So
but I mean, I like General Grievous, and then as soon as they introduced him, they were like, "Oh, and now he's dead." Cool.
That seemed to be a thing, a running theme through the prequels.
Yeah.
They introduce a cool bad guy, and then they kill him off.
Yeah, and I was like, why? You could have done more with him. That would have been cool.
Yeah, instead of developing them over the course of 3 movies, you know.
But whatever.
Yeah.
But then after that, what was the next plot-related thing?
So, basically, they save the chance. It opens up with a pretty...
Oh, yeah.
Admittedly fun sequence where they save the chance.
Christopher Lee and his curved-ass lightsaber.
Yeah, his curved-ass lightsaber that's all curved and shit.
It's like a banana for no reason.
It's like a death banana. And
yeah. What the fuck? Why, though?
Maybe...
What purpose does that help?
It fits better in the hand like a banana.
What?
But, and then Anakin, has that moment where he defeats him, and then Palpatine, being super obvious that he's the evil guy, has this moment where he's just he's like, kill him now.
Kill it. Kill him.
Do it. Do it.
Yeah. Do it.
And it starts a running theme. There's so many running themes.
Yeah.
But it's it's poetry. It rhymes.
No, it
but,
doesn't. It rhymes with shit and
It's a
piss.
joke from the Red Letter Media
okay.
thing, because it takes a lot of behind the scenes footage of the making of the prequels.
Oh.
And a common phrase is the producer talking about the Phantom Menace, where he's just it's so dense. There's just so much going on in each frame. It's just so dense. And then a lot of people say that whenever there's just a bunch of shit on screen. But
oh God.
yeah, and then a running theme of Palpatine being very obviously evil and obviously very broad strokes of manipulating Anakin.
Yeah.
And everything. The one good scene in the entire movie, even though it's super obvious and on the nose, is the opera scene when he's talking to him about the story of Darth Plagueis. And that's actually kind of a cool scene, but it's still a bunch of obvious bullshit and everything.
What part was that?
It was the part when Anakin comes to visit him, and there's the Final Fantasy X thing.
Yeah. Oh, Blitzball. There was the Blitzball
they were
thing.
at a Blitzball game, and Palpatine was just like, there's this old Sith legend about, a guy who could keep people from dying. That's unrelated to your plight. Something I don't understand is how Palpatine knew that Anakin was having those dreams.
He used the Force to get the information out of his brain. Yeah, that's real, right?
Just sure.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Like, if you get close enough to somebody, you hold your hand up, you can immediately extract all the information from their brain that they knew, and now it's in your head. That's how the Force works, right?
Well, now it is, yes.
Yeah, now.
We'll get to that. Anyway.
No, we won't.
No, we won't. Yeah, we won't. But, and then, so, they manipulate Anakin, which is just sort of him farting around on Coruscant.
I just remember specifically, as that scene popped up, I immediately stopped caring about that scene altogether. Went on my phone to go, what is that game in Final Fantasy X that's like the underwater baseball arena or whatever it is? And it came up as Blitzball. I'm like, guys, it was Blitzball. And you're all watching the movie. I'm like, guys, Blitzball, look.
Yeah, you were shoving it in our
nobody's
face.
watching. I'm like, Nathan. And I'm just like smacking him so he looks. And he's like, look. He's like, yeah, all right, cool, Zach. I'm like, all right, cool. Hey, guys, look, it's Blitzball.
But, so it's just Anakin just farting around on Coruscant and then eventually turning evil. And then they had to contrive a reason for Obi-Wan not to be there. Something bad about the prequels is that they never really focused on the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin at all. And then they always had them separated. And they were, and I'm just like, so I'm not really buying the whole Brotherhood thing and all that. But then, Order 66 happens, which
is kill all the Jedis.
Kill all the Jedis.
Bum, bum.
It was originally when he says, "Hey, do Order 66," like the clones just do it, like they've always known that they were going to do that. And then in Clone Wars, it was just like, oh, they have chips installed in their brain that make them do this automatically.
That's a lot better, I think.
Yeah, because the Clone Wars had a really cool arc where before Order 66 happened, there was a clone trooper in a battle with a Jedi leading them, and his chip malfunctioned to where he did Order 66 before he was supposed to, and he just went up and shot the Jedi in the head, and all the other clones were like, what the fuck, dude? Because it makes more sense for the clones to be friendly towards the Jedi and then have something like that to make them turn immediately.
Yeah.
Because there's also, now that, like, Star Wars Rebels is canon, there are also clones who removed the chip so that they wouldn't do that.
Huh.
And then they went on the run and everything.
Hey, Brooks, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I noticed that you have some sour gummy worms over there. Is
Is
that an empty bag, or...?
It still has some in the bag, and I will give them to you after we're done recording.
Shit!
Only about, 17 more minutes.
Shit!
I don't want you munching on
I
worms.
want to just munch on some worms. But I got worms already. I need something to sedate my worms with other worms. Wait. Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Okay, it's good that you do something like this because it keeps me from rambling about Star Wars: The Clone Wars and Star Wars
This
Rebels.
is what this whole episode is. It's
It's
so
a bunch of me rambling about Star Wars.
We're having this episode so you can finally stop. So you can finally stop, Brooks.
Yeah.
So you can finally fucking stop, okay? Please. You're tearing the children apart. No one wants to talk to us anymore. We've lost all viewers. There's no hope for humanity.
Don't worry.
I don't have any sour gummy worms in my hand. Everything's wrong.
Our next real episode will be something you like.
Hateful Eight.
Okay, yeah.
Tarantino movies.
All right, yeah,
All right,
we can
thanks
do
for
that.
watching, everybody.
Anyway, we're not done yet.
Oh.
So, Order 66 happens. There's this huge dramatic thing where the music gets all dark. All the Jedi sort of go down surprisingly easily.
Yes.
Considering they're all Jedi masters.
Yeah.
And all that. All the Jedi are killed. George Lucas's son makes a cameo as a Jedi kid who gets shot.
Oh, is that the one who got past all the other stormtroopers?
Yeah, and the one that Bail Organa saw die, and he was like,
Organa.
no!
Organa,
yeah. Anyway, so and then it ends up that Obi-Wan and Yoda are pretty much the only two left, and they're just like, we gotta fight the people now. So instead of both teaming up on one or the other, they separate, and Yoda goes to attack the Emperor in a pretty ridiculous scene. We didn't talk about this in episode 2, but Yoda uses a lightsaber and does a bunch of CGI flips everywhere.
Yes.
That's also another thing in the prequels, is a bunch of
CGI. Isn't he?
Yeah, the whole point of Yoda in the original trilogy, there's two sides of it. The whole point of Yoda in the original trilogy is that he is so like in tune with the Force and so strong that he doesn't need a lightsaber. Like he's past that point.
Yeah.
Like him and the Emperor both are sort of past that point where they're just like Force users. They don't need to fight with lightsabers and all that stuff. And then in the prequels, it's just like, wouldn't it be cool if they had lightsabers and they did a bunch of flips everywhere and fought each other? Yeah, and then they had the fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin, which some people say is the best fight in all the movies, which is a lie.
No.
And it's just like, it was probably the first time in the prequels where there was stuff going on like behind the scenes of a lightsaber fight.
Yeah.
Because you had the whole thing with Obi-Wan and Anakin and the betrayal and all that.
Right.
So it was actually the first real meaningful fight. But even then, they just twirled their lightsabers around. They were...
It was cool how they kept jumping from place to place.
Yeah, they
though.
jumped from place to place. They were swinging on
I
vines
think the
and cables.
location was bad, though. Like this, let's fight on the lava planet. Why were they on the lava planet?
They were on the lava planet because that was where the Separatists were hiding, and then basically after Order 66 happened, the Emperor's just like, okay, now that we've officially done this, you can just kill all the Separatists, so we can declare that we won the war.
Oh, okay.
So that no one knows that we were playing both sides.
Oh.
So because if you're like going through a war on the orders of a weird guy in a hood and everything, and then you notice that the new guy in charge of the other side is a weird guy in a hood, you're gonna ask a few questions.
Just a couple.
Yeah.
It's a lot of couple. Oh, every question. Why?
So
What?
they were on the planet. They were on the lava planet. Anakin choked out Padme, and she just sort of fell over a little.
She had a broken heart.
She died in an age of space and floating robots that can deliver babies. She died of a broken heart.
Not a crushed windpipe, or
not a crushed windpipe.
Increased like sulfur inhaling
Yeah.
stuff that could happen, but a broken heart.
Yeah, and then the fancy thing. You have the bit with the high ground, which doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. I have the high ground. Yeah, and
You underestimate my flips.
yeah, I was like, what the.
My mad ups.
So you mean during this entire time where you were fighting on a waterfall of lava and doing flips off of collapsing buildings, neither of you had the high ground at that
Yeah,
point?
that was such a non-climax to that fight.
Yeah, it's like, I have the high ground! You're standing up on a hill. If I just throw the lightsaber at you...
Not spoiling a certain movie that we may talk about a bit, but there's a thing, an ending to a thing in that's a lot better.
Yeah.
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 But, anyway, yeah, so really underwhelming ending. Someone had to remind George Lucas that Obi-Wan should pick up Anakin's lightsaber so that he can give it to Luke in the original movie.
Really?
Yeah. They were just like, they did the take, and then someone was just like, shouldn't he pick up the lightsaber, so he can pass it down to Luke in the first movie you made? Oh, yeah, okay, let's do another take where he does that. I'm like, God damn it, George. So that ends the prequels, and then it sets up for, like, this separates the twins and all that.
Okay.
And then Leia goes to Alderaan, Luke goes to Tatooine, and it's all good. It's all goodness and all that.
Oh boy, and then we watched episode 6.
Episode 6, which was probably the one I've seen the least.
I liked it the most.
But I liked it a lot, yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely my number one out of all the movies.
That's your number one out of all the movies?
Force Awakens is probably my number one now.
Okay.
Kind of because I'm kind of a bitch when it comes to like special effects and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like this one is most up to date. I really liked it. It was so visually appealing for me, The Force Awakens, and the acting was phenomenal in it.
Oh yeah,
I was like, holy fucking shit! These guys, I'm believing everything they're saying. If they were the General Palpatine, I'd say, let's go dark side.
But yeah. So Return of the Jedi, I think it's a good movie with some like weaker parts in it. Like some of the parts are some of the best in the series.
Yes.
Like the stuff with Vader and Luke is fantastic.
Right.
Jabba's palace is fantastic. And I like the assault on the second Death Star and all that.
I like that.
Oh, the Sarlacc pit is
Thank
one of
you
my
for-
favorite parts.
Thank you for understanding that.
It's just it just seems like a much more disjointed movie than the others, especially in the original trilogy.
Oh, okay.
And all that, and the parts don't really connect as much. I don't mind the Ewoks. I actually think they're kind of cool.
I think they were adorable.
Yeah, they were adorable and cool. And people complain about the Ewoks beating the stormtroopers. I'm like, oh, it's a metaphor. We're the nature versus technology and all that. So I can buy it. And then it gave a nice sense of finality to it.
Yeah.
And it had the best lightsaber and the best Luke because it had the green lightsaber and then it had Luke in the black clothes, which is the best Luke and the coolest Luke.
Why
and
is
it was
that the
awesome.
best Luke?
Because he's full Jedi. Like in the others, in the first one he was whiny farm boy. In the second one he was training Padawan. And in this one he is full Jedi Knight and he is awesome. And it was good. And then it had a nice little party at the end on the Ewok village, which is kind of a weird thing to end the series on at the time.
Yeah.
But it gave a nice sense of finality.
Yes.
And then, good movie. People rag on it a lot, but I think it's better than people remember it being. It's just a little disjointed. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
What are your thoughts?
Without spoiling anything, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would have because we marathoned all the other previous Star Wars movies and I was like kind of half paying attention and stuff because I'm like, yeah, whatever, this is cool, alright, I'm not really digging the whole universe of Star Wars, it's whatever, but then The Force Awakens, it also helps because the environment we saw it in, it was surrounded by a bunch of Star Wars nerds.
Yeah.
And like the second Star Wars came on screen, everybody's cheering and clapping like, yes! Yes! And I'm like, oh Christ, I have to watch it now. I mean, like, I have to pay attention because everybody is fucking gonna crucify me if I make any kind of joke.
Yeah.
So, it opens up with the scene that I can't explain
Yeah,
anything.
we're not going to go into spoilers.
But it was just, it starts out strong and then it keeps going because it gave me a question and I was like, what? Why is this happening? And then it kind of explains more and more and it keeps going and I'm like, that guy's kind of like the Iron Man of this universe now because he has like the funny little quips. And then it keeps going and I'm loving it and I keep loving it and I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. That's, why, what the whatever, I'm still enjoying it, like, because there were moments, like, every movie has, where it's just like, that's stupid, why the fuck, but then you keep watching and you're like, this is really awesome, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, like, with all the hype and everything, like, the thing behind it is, my thing was, I love this movie. Is it a perfect movie? No, but just like the originals, it's a great movie with flaws, in my opinion, and without spoiling anything, I think it's a better movie than Return of the Jedi.
Oh, cool.
Because, like I said, it has its flaws, but for me, it's more of a cohesive whole than Jedi was. Like I said, Jedi was kind of disjointed, and I think I both liked it more than Jedi, and I think it was a better movie than Jedi. So if I was ranking them, like the original and Empire would be tied for like the top one, and then I would put Force Awakens underneath of it for me. Like some people are disappointed in it. Some people think, like, I remember this one guy on Twitter, like, who I follow, he was, like, talking about he didn't like it because he didn't really know the characters and it felt like a product. And I don't think any of that was true because something, you know that it's a good sign when my favorite thing about this movie is the new characters.
Yeah.
And
although, for me, one of the new characters, it was just like, okay. The one person who, trying to explain, just cut this out.
Actually, yeah, I'll probably cut that. But, Finn is great. I really love Finn. I really enjoyed him. John Boyega is really charismatic. Rey, Daisy Ridley's character, is probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, she reminds me a lot of Furiosa from Mad Max.
Yeah, she's just really fantastic character, and really, like, her journey through the movie, like, is really brings it together.
I like having female protagonists for once. It's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah. You're trying to undermine men authority.
Did you remember that when The Force Awakens was, like, when the, like, latest trailer when the last trailer came out, there was a whole thing on Twitter called Boycott Star Wars because there wasn't a white male lead?
No.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
That's really stupid.
That's really dumb. It's really a shame because, well, It's
There's a
good because
human
we don't
race.
want those people at Star
Yeah,
Wars.
screw them.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
anyway, so she was great. Poe Dameron was really cool. And you know it's a good sign when Kylo Ren was a great character. Not just a great villain, but I really liked his character too.
Okay.
And for me, without going into details, people were expecting him to be like just
It's very difficult to know what's a spoiler or not.
yeah, we just cut out our conversation we had about that. But yeah, Kylo Ren is really great, and I thought he was a great character. And you know, it's a good sign when you see these characters and you want to see more of them. You're just like,
Yeah.
hey, I like more. I want more.
Yeah, I like
And-
the droid BB-8.
BB-8 is fantastic. I love him.
He's a little baby boy.
He
And I just want to hold him.
Baby boy 8.
Baby boy 8.
But it's like, and then that's all the new characters. And I loved all the new characters. I'm fully on board with that. And then the old characters, the bringing back of the old cast, I thought was handled very well. Where it's not, they didn't have them there just to be there. Like the screen time they had was to serve the purpose of the story, and I really liked it. And I think Han really shined because Harrison
He
Ford.
shot first.
Yes, he did. But Harrison Ford is getting to that point where he stopped caring about movies and
Yeah.
stuff. Like Indiana Jones 4, he really stopped caring then. But in this one, he's enthusiastic, he's really into it, and he doesn't just play Han Solo, but he plays like an older Han Solo. Like, not an old man playing Han Solo from the originals, but a progression of...
Yeah.
You feel like it's a Han Solo that's lived through 30 years of stuff and everything.
Because he actually did live through.
Yeah. And I really love the movie, and I really rank it up there. I've seen it twice at this point, and the first time was just like, I'm a Star Wars fan, I'm gonna love this no matter what. And the second time, I'm just like, okay, as just a person who watches movies, I'm gonna see how good this really is.
And now you're going to go see
And
it the third time and go, oh.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go with like my family, the family members who haven't seen it yet but want to.
Mhm.
So, and I'm just like, yeah, it's still I think it's a really great movie, and I think it does have flaws, but I don't think I think a majority of those flaws don't really take away the good stuff. Like, I kind of wish that like it does have a breakneck pace, and I kind of wish that we could have taken a bit more time with just like the characters sort of like being together and like having a few more moments. But I felt they had enough moments together where I'm like, I can buy what's happening on screen and the relationships between these characters. I can buy all that and that kind of stuff. And some of the plot holes are, you're just gonna have that in a movie, and I feel like they're either going to explain those more in a future movie, or like it's to the point where they don't really take away from the story happening in this film. So all around, I give it a 2 thumbs up because I really liked it.
Yeah, I imagine.
I remember you told me last night you had like some points of criticism you read.
Oh, yeah,
that
but-
you're gonna cite.
I mean, but all of them are kind of related to spoilers at this point. So.
Oh, okay. So 2 things.
Yeah.
Most of that stuff I was just like, okay, I can see where you're coming from. Doesn't really detract from the movie. But 2 of the ones I'm like, what?
Yeah.
One of them was a full point. One of them was just a line in one of the points.
Okay.
The one that was a full point, I was just like, in the list you had, it was a conspiracy theory that John Williams didn't actually write the music.
Okay.
I'm like, what?
What is that?
It's
What?
just like, it was like, yeah, this piece in this part of the movie doesn't sound like a John Williams song. I'm like, that's because it's new. It's a new thing he made. Why would they have someone else and just say it's John Williams? Just do John Williams.
Yeah.
The guy's still alive and making music. So,
Boom.
and then the other one was, hang on, I have to read it again because I want to. If it's just a joke, I don't want to complain about it. If it's just a joke, but I feel like it was sandwiched in between like not a joke.
Ooh.
So hang on, it was in this chat. Okay, so pause. Okay,
All right.
so unpause. I found it, and I know it's not a joke because it's sandwiched in between 2 other serious points, and it's literally, I'm gonna read it word for word. How did Miles from Lost become an admiral? And I'm like, what the fuck kind of comment is that? What?
That's hilarious.
Like, yeah, so I don't know if I, like, buy the credibility of this list you found, but some of them are just, like, legitimate criticism. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I can see that, but, you know, and then it's just, like, the whole big thing about it is just like, this is dumb. I'm like, well, actually, it's pretty cool, but whatever. So, final thoughts. I rank it pretty high up in the Star Wars films. We got a good Star Wars movie again, and I really loved it, and I'm probably gonna continue loving it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And your thoughts?
Oh jeez, sorry. I like the entire time you were looking at that. I just found out all the new Steven Universe episodes are coming on January 4th.
Zach is looking into something he cares a lot more about.
Fuck, dude. It could, Gems take a trip to the moon. What the fuck is it? Where did you go to the moon? Everyone goes to the moon. What's the shit is happening? I want everything to okay, yeah, Star Wars: The Force Awakens was pretty great.
Yeah, it makes me so happy that you liked it.
Yeah, I did like it, and I liked seeing it with everybody else, and I liked being able to sit next to Mattis, because, like, whenever something funny would happen, I would turn to him and go, "Hey, Mattis, something funny happened," and he'd go, "You want a cookie bite?" Oh, that's our dynamic. All right. So, oh shit.
Okay, yeah. So, that's it. That's all we have to say without spoiling. We'll probably talk spoilers another day, but as for now, let's just do the plugs.
Let's
wait,
sign off.
what's been happening with you?
Oh right. I have been trying to marathon Hunter x Hunter because I remember reading this manga several years ago when it got finished, and I realized, oh right, they remade it into an anime. I'm gonna watch it again. And it's 5 whole seasons with 26 episodes each. I got myself in too deep, Brooks.
You're in too deep.
I can't. I'm already in the second season.
You can't go back.
I'm already almost done the second season, Brooks. I can't go back. One Punch Man's almost over, Brooks. One Punch Man is about to be Two Punch Man. It's gonna be fucking crazy. Ah!
Okay.
Good. It's all anime.
School's
over for me.
I don't think. Yeah, school ended for me. All that I have left really is work.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Christmas
pretty much. Oh yeah, Christmas is coming up, and that's gonna be fun. We've talked previously about how next week is just gonna be a mini-sode, you know, so that we can like pretty much have Christmas off,
Right.
and everything. So nice. So yeah. So we will see you guys again. Yeah, I haven't really been keeping up with anything other than Star Wars. It's been Star Wars. So you want to do the plugs?
All right. So you can follow us on Twitter at Brave Snuggles or at Squeezy McCheesy at 100 Years Pod.
At 100 Years Pod is the big one.
Twitter. No, we already said Twitter. What's the
SoundCloud?
Instagram.
No.
Brave Snuggles.
Tumblr.
That's what I meant. No, Tumblr. Pride Point.
Pride.
Fuck, we had it last week.
Yeah, it was
Pinterest.
This is like we just randomly yell Pinterest like in a conversation. Like, Pinterest! We remembered! We gotta go back!
That needs to be a thing now. Whenever we're just talking, we remember to Pinterest. Like, oh, what?
Pinterest!
What is it?
Yeah, like that's how we announce that we've remembered something unrelated to the podcast or anything. But and then if you're listening on SoundCloud, you can also find us on iTunes and download, subscribe, and give us a good rating.
And
you know?
donate.
And we don't have a donate thing.
That's okay, because we wouldn't accept it anyway.
If you find us on iTunes, you know, follow us on SoundCloud. You know, we got our first comment.
Yeah?
It was a bunch of question marks and then a username that doesn't exist.
Yes.
The user who posted it exists, and we thank you for commenting. But
thanks, Leho.
Yeah. But he posted question marks and then a username that doesn't exist. So
all right, I guess it's time to sign off, just like we do every day.
Do the same sign off you always do, Zach.
Yep. All right. Look at your left hand. Look at all the cracks in it. Each individual crack means something in this universe. Every single finger you have branches off into an alternate timeline, which you can't control, but there you are in the center of your palm looking into every individual finger as what could be. You don't know where you could go from here, but you just know that if you look farther and farther into your hand, you can see Brooks and Zach 100 years. Thanks for listening, everybody. It's been great. It's been a good time. Great.
See ya.
Damn it, Brooks. Let me end it already.